Hi, my name is Laura. I'm a therapist here in Colorado, and I am doing a 12-week video series of skills that you can use in group therapy or in the other circles that are a part of your life, whether this is a mastermind, teams with work, or a women's circle or men's circle. These skills could be applied to many of these areas in our lives. So one of the most important skills, which is what this week we'll be focusing on, is having the ability to ground. And what is grounding referring to? So when we start to enter fight or flight, there's changes that are happening where our blood flow chemically, and grounding is that ability to come back to a calm state. So if your energy level is getting up, it's the ability to bring yourself back down. And I open everything with grounding skills. So I open every individual session, group session that I do, team meetings, mastermind group. We always do this. A lot of times we can be in a low level of fight or flight, worried about paying bills and how am I going to get this done. And that's actually not the best place for deep connection and deep healing and deep work. So what does fight or flight do to our system? It decreases empathy or completely takes it away if we're in a more intense state of fight or flight. And this makes sense if we're in a life-threatening situation. If I have a bear coming out of this area, I don't want to feel empathy for the bear and see how hungry he might be, and maybe I could go make him a roast beef sandwich. No, my system wants to keep me safe, and I'm going to have no empathy for that bear, and it's about protecting myself. And this is not a great place to be, especially if you're doing couples therapy. If I see a person start to elevate to fight or flight, I pause all the work until that person's grounded again. Anything that we say to one another when we're in fight or flight is going to lack empathy, and I just don't really see value in that communication. And what else happens when fight or flight? We're no longer able to see different solutions. So we see solution A or nothing. We lose the ability to evaluate good, better, best. Again, if a bear is chasing you, you just need to decide quickly on a course of action. That quickness is better than pausing and evaluating. So how do we support ourselves in grounding? And I love the concept of emotional fitness, that this is not a expectation that we have of ourselves to be able to do without practice. So if I have never done a pull-up before and I tell myself to go do a pull-up and I'm not able to do it, I think most of our culture has an understanding, well, there's ways that you can build up to doing a pull-up. So maybe you start by doing more push-ups, and then you work on doing like a hang and lower, and then maybe you'll get the strength to do a pull-up. But there's a way to break it down to build up to doing that. And grounding's the same exact way. We can't expect ourselves to just get grounded with no practice. So what are some of the ways to build practices in our lives? Well, there is one study that observed people doing grounding exercises 10 times a day, which is a lot, but only for 20 to 30 seconds. So really, that's 4 to 5 minutes of your day. So they did practices 8 to 10 times a day for 20 to 30 seconds over a 6-week period. And what the brain scans showed was that and when we're in fight or flight, it's related prefrontal cortex that's going to have decreased blood flow. So these people, when triggered, weren't able to bring the blood flow back within the 5-minute scanning period. After 6 weeks of practice, when triggered, they were able to bring blood flow back to their prefrontal cortex an average of a minute. So they were able to change where their blood was going in their brain with 6 weeks of practice. And I think that is pretty amazing. I do these practices throughout the day, and I use a bunch of different practices. I'm going to go over 3 in this week's video series, but do the practices that call to you, that seem to be supportive of you, And a cautionary note on that, if a practice is uncomfortable, there could be something for you to learn in it. So maybe there's a balance between which exercises I found really calming and where I'm going to stretch myself, because there might be an important lesson in me practicing this one. So emotional fitness is a practice, grounding is a practice to gain that ability. And I think that's about all the information I have for you today. Now I'm going to lead us through a practice. So I invite you to get comfortable wherever you're at, if you're sitting or standing, noticing the ground underneath you. And I'm going to do the 3 senses. It's commonly called 5 senses. I sometimes leave off smell and sense of taste. I was born without a sense of smell, but definitely feel free to include that one if you find it supportive for you. So I'm going to invite you to notice what you can see. And maybe look close around you. Noticing your body. Noticing the furniture around you. And see if you can just notice without judgment. If you see a stack of papers, instead of going, ugh, I wish those papers weren't there. Just see if you can notice the lines, the textures, the colors, releasing any need to judge, such as calling something dirty or broken. But just notice maybe the crack that it has. And now allow your awareness to expand further and further away from you. If you're able to look outside, seeing how far your gaze can go. If you notice a wind, just notice how the branches might be moving outside. Noticing the movement. And then if you can see the sky, noticing how far above you you're able to see. And when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to move your awareness onto what you can hear. And maybe begin by noticing how far away you can hear things. What's the furthest sound you can hear? And slowly bringing your awareness in. Of what you can hear. So what sounds are closer to you? And bringing your awareness of what you can hear even more inward. Can you hear the sound of your breath? Can you hear the sound of your heartbeat? And anytime your awareness moves to a thought, just see how gently you can return your awareness to where you want to place it. Noticing your breath or the sound of your heartbeat. And when you're ready, I invite you to move your awareness to what you can feel. So the feeling of the ground beneath your feet. The feeling of any breeze on your skin. the feeling of your clothing. And again, I invite you to bring your awareness even closer. What are you noticing on the inside of your body? When you notice tension, there's no need to change that tension, just notice it. See if you can observe it without judgment. The same for pain or discomfort. Just noticing how the body feels in this moment. And lastly, what emotions do you notice within you? And you can give these emotions names, such as the feeling of sadness, or maybe joy, and see if you can label without judgment. And now I invite you to bring your awareness back to this room and just notice how you feel right now. Is there a shift in your emotional state? Do you feel more present, able to listen? And if so, this may be one of the exercises that you want to incorporate into the 20 to 30 seconds. So we went for a few minutes there, but you could just do noticing what you can see for 30 seconds and just allow yourself, if you're able to take in the beauty around you. Maybe it's a tree that you can see and just take in the beautiful textures, colors, amazingness of that tree for 20 to 30 seconds. Maybe it's the sound of birds or the sound of your favorite song, and just pausing any thoughts that might be racing or just not racing, but in your mind, and allowing yourself to become fully present within that sight or sound or feeling or smell or even taste. Well, I look forward to connecting with you later this week. Have a wonderful day. Bye.